This boy did not come from a place of comfort. He came from a small neighborhood, where life was not easy, where every day was a challenge, and where dreams often felt too big for the reality around him. Music was not just a hobby for him. It was an escape. It was hope. It was the one thing that made the struggles fade away, even if only for a moment. As a child, he would listen to songs on an old radio, sometimes borrowed, sometimes barely working. He taught himself by listening carefully, repeating notes again and again until they felt right. He practiced wherever he could, at home, on the streets, sometimes even outside small gatherings where people would stop and listen for a few seconds before moving on, but those few seconds meant everything to him. His family supported him in the only way they could, with love and encouragement. Even when money was tight and life was hard, they believed in his gift. His parents told him that talent was a blessing, and that if he worked hard and stayed humble, one day the world might listen. That day had finally arrived. When his name was called, he took a deep breath and walked onto the stage. The crowd gave polite applause. The judges looked at him with curiosity. Simon Cowell leaned back in his chair, arms crossed, expression unreadable. He had seen thousands of auditions, many good, many forgettable, and some truly awful. The question in his mind was simple: what makes this one different? The host asked him his name and where he was from. His voice was soft but steady as he answered. He spoke about his family, about his love for music, and about how America's Got Talent was his biggest dream. He said he wanted to make his parents proud and show the world that no matter where you come from, talent can shine anywhere. There was something honest in his eyes, something real. The audience leaned in just a little. Then came the moment of truth. Before the lights turned on, the boy stood alone behind the curtain, gripping the microphone with both hands. His heart was racing so fast he thought everyone could hear it. He had never been on a stage this big before. Back home in his small Filipino village, he sang near the sea, sometimes to the waves, sometimes to the night sky. There were no judges there. No cameras. No laughter. Just his voice and his dreams. When he finally stepped onto the stage, the audience barely reacted. Some people looked bored. Others whispered. A few even laughed quietly. He wore simple clothes, clearly worn from years of use. He didn't look like a star. He looked like an ordinary boy who didn't belong under such bright lights. The judges watched him closely. Simon Cowell leaned back in his chair, arms crossed, his face unreadable. He had seen thousands of contestants like this. Nervous kids with big stories and bigger hopes. Most of them failed. The boy introduced himself softly. His voice shook as he spoke about his life. He said his father was a fisherman who left before sunrise every day. His mother washed clothes for other families to earn money. Some nights, he said, they slept hungry, but his parents always smiled so he wouldn't worry. Music was the only thing that made him forget the fear of tomorrow. A few people in the crowd smiled, not kindly but doubtfully. They had heard stories like this before. Simon asked him why he believed he could sing well enough to be there. The boy paused. He swallowed hard and said he didn't know if he was the best. He only knew that singing was the one thing that made him feel alive. That answer didn't impress the audience. The music began. First, nothing changed. Then the boy sang his first note. It was soft, almost fragile, but it carried something powerful. The laughter stopped. A strange silence spread across the theater. The boy closed his eyes as if the world around him no longer existed. His fear disappeared, replaced by something duh. People in the audience begin to feel emotional. Some smile in disbelief. Others wipe their eyes. This is not just a cover song anymore. This is a story being told by a child who has known struggle and hope in equal measure. The guitar solo section approaches, and again, the boy surprises everyone. His fingers move effortlessly, delivering a soulful, controlled instrumental that honors the original while adding his own quiet touch. The audience responds with soft gasps and growing applause. Simon Cowell watches intently. His expression is no longer guarded. It is open, impressed, moved. As the final verse begins, the boy closes his eyes. His voice trembles slightly, not from fear, but from emotion. This moment means everything to him. He sings like someone who knows this could change his future, like someone who understands that this song is his voice, his story, his chance. The final note fades gently into silence. For a brief moment, the entire auditorium is still. Then the room erupts. The audience leaps to their feet, applauding wildly. Cheers echo from every corner. Some people shout his name. Others clap with tears streaming down their faces. The judges stand as well, applauding with genuine admiration. The boy stands frozen, overwhelmed. His eyes widen. His hands shake. He bows slightly, unsure how to react to such a powerful response. Simon Cowell finally speaks. He admits that when the boy said Hotel California, he was worried. He says it is one of the hardest songs to sing. He pauses, then smiles. He tells the boy that he proved him wrong. He says that the performance was honest, emotional, and unforgettable. He says the boy did not just sing the song. He felt it. The other judges echo his praise. They talk about his courage, his authenticity, and his natural musical instinct. They ask about his family, his dreams, his hopes. The boy answers humbly. He says he wants to help his parents. He wants to continue his education. He wants to make music that touches.
There were days when he doubted himself, days when he wondered if his dream was too big for someone like him, but every time those thoughts appeared he remembered his parents' words. They told him that God gives everyone a gift and it is our duty to use it with honesty and courage. When he finally stepped onto the America's Got Talent stage, his heart was beating fast. The bright lights almost blinded him. The audience looked massive and intimidating. He could see the judges sitting in front of him, especially Simon Cowell, whose reputation for being brutally honest was known all over the world. The host asked him his name. His voice trembled slightly as he spoke, but there was a quiet confidence behind it. He shared that he was from the Philippines and that performing on this stage was his biggest dream. He said he wanted to make his parents proud and prove that talent has no borders. Some people in the audience smiled politely, others were unsure. Simon Cowell listened carefully, his face serious and unreadable. He had seen countless young singers before, many with dreams but few with something truly special. Then the judges asked him what he would be performing. The boy answered softly and took his position on the stage. There was no background music, no special effects, just silence. And then he sang. The very first note changed everything. It was as if time stopped. His voice was rich, powerful, and filled with emotion that went far beyond his age. The sound echoed through the theater, reaching every corner of the room. Conversation stopped. People leaned forward, unable to look away. Simon Cowell's eyebrows lifted in surprise. One of the judges placed a hand over their mouth. The audience began to react immediately, some gasping, others shaking their heads in disbelief. As the song continued, the boy poured his heart into every lyric. You could feel his struggles, his hopes, and his dreams through his voice. It was not just a performance, it was a confession, a story of survival and belief. He moved effortless. He said that he has listened to thousands of singers over the years, but what he just heard was something special. He told the boy that his voice carried truth and pain and hope all at once. He said that talent like this cannot be taught. The boy's eyes filled with tears as Simon continued. He asked the boy how old he was, and when he answered, the audience reacted with shock. Once again, the disbelief only grew stronger. Simon smiled and said that moments like this are the reason he loves this show. He told the boy that he had not just sung a song, he had told a story that everyone felt. Suddenly the crowd began chanting. The energy inside the theater became electric. The boy looked confused, overwhelmed, and emotional. Simon Cowell slowly reached for the golden buzzer. Time seemed to slow down. When he pressed it, golden confetti exploded from above, covering the stage in shining gold. The audience screamed louder than ever. The boy dropped to his knees, unable to hold back his tears. It was a moment of pure magic. Simon walked onto the stage, helped the boy up, and hugged him. He whispered words of encouragement, telling him to enjoy this moment because he deserved it. Backstage, the boy's family watched in disbelief, crying, hugging, and thanking God for this miracle. Years of struggle, sacrifice, and belief had finally paid off. The audition video spread across social media like wildfire. Millions of people watched and shared it. Comment sections filled with messages of love, admiration, and inspiration. People around the world said his performance reminded them to never give up on their dreams. But despite the sudden fame, the boy remained humble. In interviews he spoke about his family, his country, and the kids back home who dreamed just like him. He said he wanted to be a voice for those who felt invisible. As the competition continued, he faced new challenges, bigger expectations, and intense pressure, but every time he stepped onto the stage he remembered the small boy who sang just to escape his struggles. No.